Hi guys, it's Retro Nerd Girl, and I'm at the International Science Fiction Space Station. Got a brand new movie that I've just watched. It is Beauty and the Beast. This is fresh off of getting a high recommendation by Unicorn Rampant Studio for this movie. I thought that maybe it was an older movie. So today I'm getting my information from Wikipedia, and we just want to get some of the basic information. So we've got Beauty and the Beast. This is a French spoken language film that was released in 1946. It is very, very romantic. Very, very romantic. It was directed by French poet and filmmaker Jean Cocteau, and it is very beautiful, visually stunning, visually stunning. I do love this just wonderful illustration here for this film. Absolutely beautiful. This movie really set the bar for Beauty and the Beast, and it is actually quite compelling and just gorgeous to look at. When you just start the story, it starts off with Belle being sort of the workhorse of the family, cleaning up behind her two sisters that are so vain and just absolutely deplorable. Their names are Adeline and Felicity, and they are just the cruelest ladies ever. They are very much like the stepsisters in Cinderella, very rude and nasty to Belle and to their father, and just very disrespectful. All they want is the best in life, and they don't care who they have to step on to get that, and they don't care who they have to kill either. Yes, these characters are extremely evil to the point of wanting to kill their own father and wanting to, wanting to the worst for their sister. And I've seen quite a few different versions of this movie in which they also highlight the sisters and how bad they are. We do have two more characters. One is Belle's brother in all of this. He's another accomplice, and his name is Ludovic. And Ludovic has a friend by the name of Avenant, and Avenant is in love with Belle. And every day he asks Belle if he can marry her, and she refuses. She's not interested in him, and I think it's because he's cruel. He's not necessarily the nicest guy. I think she's attracted to him. She likes him. She even defends him at some point, but he is very cruel. There's just something very cruel in the way he is, but he is a very handsome young man. And as you can see, they're sporting a mullet. So yes, very cool character here. Somehow we kind of root for him a little bit. He does remind me of the Disney version of this character, Gaston, right? Handsome, but there's a cruelty in their demeanor, a selfishness about the way they go about the world. And so you have the beast, who is actually a sweet person underneath, and then you have this gorgeous human being who also is has a beast inside. Love all those little things, and this is the perfect story to kind of bring out those layers, if you will. The father comes home to find out that his fortunes have been lost at sea, but also he brings news that there's a possibility that he may be able to become rich again. The young daughters are, plotting all of this stuff, and just like, oh, they can't wait to be rich again. He asked his daughter, what would you like me to bring back from you? Because he has to go away in the morning. And one of them says that she wants a monkey. The other one says that she wants a parrot. And Belle is so sweet that she's like, I don't see roses around here, so I'd like to have a rose. And of course, the way she asked for it, he just would love to give her what she wants. And of all the people in the story, her father is the one who really, really shows the most tenderness and love and endearing sentiments towards Belle. Everyone else treats her like garbage. But somehow she doesn't care. She gives her sisters in ridiculous flatteries. Like she tells them, you're just so beautiful. You should wear my things because it would look so much better on you. And Avenant is telling her, "You're the most beautiful of all of these people here." And she's like, "No, no, no, no. My sisters are much more beautiful than I am." She's just very much that kind of person who doesn't focus in on themselves as much as she is always trying to help others. It is to a fault. It's to a fault with that character. And maybe that is how she's written for the day that she existed, because this is supposedly based on a true story. She is definitely written in a way that maybe there could be some tweaks to her along the way, but one thing for sure is that she is an innocent, and that is why people really love the character of Belle, because she truly has a good heart. I love the fact that the story really shows you this, and the fact that it is done in another language does not stop you from enjoying and seeing exactly that from the performance. Very well done here. And I like, this is a story I would not tolerate if it was dubbed, because there's so much in the voices of the actors that you don't want to lose here. You don't want to lose the sisters. They're so cruel. They're the way they say everything is so wretched and so like mean and nasty, and it's like, yes, I know that character. And the way Belle is so soft and so gentle and sweet, it's definitely gives you that. And I have more to say about the vocal performances of these characters. Very well done. By the way, these actresses are very, very good. I watch them very closely to see all of the little micro movements and micro expressions that they had, and it was really fascinating to see their performances. Really excellent. The father goes out into the forest, and he goes to where he needs to go to see if he can get his fortune back. And unfortunately, he can't. He finds out that he's going to be poor. All the while, the son, Ludovic, decides that he is going to get a loan from someone. But since this doesn't pan out, it backfires, and all of the estate has to be given to these loan sharks. So the father is wandering around. He's trying to go home, but he gets lost and he bumps into this magical forest. It leads him to this magical castle. As you can see, there are arms that are sticking out of the walls, and those are actually human arms sticking out of the walls. And it is one of the most beautiful visuals ever. It's like, wow. And it's choreographed beautifully, beautifully choreographed for each and every person to know what they're supposed to do in the scene and to give us the visuals that we're going to get. It's really incredible. So as you can see, all the way down the line against this wall, we have people sticking their arms through the wall, obviously, on the other side, but also they're holding up these candelabras, and it's really incredible to see. Also, there is a hand sticking up underneath from out of the table, and at one point the father looks underneath the table to see if there's someone down there, and there isn't anyone. So this castle is completely enchanted. It's running on some sort of incredible magic, and it's absolutely haunting and beautiful at the same time. Wonderful, wonderful. And the father is enjoying his meal and his drinks, and is kind of freaked out. But he's like, okay, well, I needed something to eat, and here it is. And on the walls, you can see that there are people trapped inside of the statue. Or you can say that the statues have come to life. Either which way, these are real live action performances inside of these stationary places, and it looks so haunting to see the eyes and how it glows. It's very gothic, but also very beautiful at the same time. It's very haunting and dreamlike. It just is incredible, incredible. And you kind of see where Disney got its idea to do characters that are actually alive, because that's exactly what this haunted home has. It has so many different characters that are in the statue form, but they're actually alive. So it's really fascinating to see that. The father is done with his meal and he's like, okay, well, I'm going to go home. But when he goes out into the courtyard, there he sees a beautiful rose and he picks it. And this is what sets off the events to lead to the rest of the story. So the beast comes out, he's pissed off, and he says, you could have stolen anything, but you stole a rose from my precious garden. And that is something that I cannot forgive. You could have done anything else but that. He, of course, asked for one of the father's daughters come to his castle in his place. He tells his children exactly what happened. Of course, everyone blames Belle. I mean, at that point, she feels responsible, and also she doesn't want to see her father die. So she went in place of her father. When we see her get to this castle, initially it's beautifully done in slow motion. She's running down the halls and her clothes, her cape is billowing, and it's all in slow motion so you can get the beauty of it while the music is crescendoing, and she sees all of the arms holding the candelabras. It's really spooky for her and she's frightened. There's this incredible hall scene that is absolutely gorgeous. Okay, this scene, when I saw this, reminded me of another scene that I have witnessed, and it never got out of my mind. I was like, I want to make a movie one day and put this scene in it. And seeing this, it was like, oh my goodness, this is where this scene comes from. So the scene I'm talking about, well, I'm just going to describe it a little bit. It's a long hallway with these beautiful curtains flapping in the wind in the windows, and the character glides toward the camera. It's beautiful. It's absolutely well done. Very ghost-like, very haunting, and visually stunning. This is the scene from Dracula 2000, and it was released in 2000. I don't have any more footage for you, but the character does slide down the hallway. There's some interesting effects done there. I never stopped thinking about this scene and how beautifully haunting it was and really cool. And don't you love like how they kind of accentuated it with the red and everything, and it's perfect for a vampire story. And really, when I was looking at this and thinking about how it feels, again, I mentioned Gothic. It has this beautiful Gothic vibe to the movie that feels very much like a Dracula movie, a Dracula-esque type of thing. So Beauty, or Belle, sees the beast and she faints immediately. But there is a wonderful scene of the beast carrying Belle to her bedroom. His cape or all the drapery of clothing are just flapping in the wind, and it's just really beautiful. And there's some scenes that are slowed down, and the camera's just moving in really incredible ways. Just loved it all. It was very romantic, but also, and again, very scary too, because at this point, if you don't know the story, you don't know what he's going to do with her. But it is dramatic too, and the way that it's all played out. Very nice. And here he is looming over her in her bed. He puts her in the bed and just admiring her. But there is a sense almost like Dracula, but instead of Dracula who lunges in to bite his victim, he's just there because he's admiring her. He's not going to do anything to her. She wakes up and he says to her, "This is your room. I only expect for you to come down and have dinner with me at 7 p.m. every night." And that's pretty much it. And for her, she's like terrified. What is going on? He also shows her a mirror that is hers, so she can look to see the thing that means the most to her. And every time she looks in the mirror, she sees her dad. And when she looks in the mirror to see her dad, he's not doing so good because he thinks that she's going to be killed by the beast. And so he's not doing very well. So yes, and look at how beautiful and romantic this room is. I also wanted to highlight the fact that nature plays a big role in this movie. There's even plants in her bed. Like, if you look, I want to go back to the last picture. I mean, there's a branch right in her bed with her. Like, it is so important, the addition of nature in this whole thing. And many of the scenes that we see in this movie were done in real natural habitat. There are definitely a few places where you can see it's definitely a sound stage, but there are also a lot of places where they actually did go outside and they did show us this world and the nature and the beauty of nature. It was really interesting to see that. I absolutely adored it. I adored the fact that it was also in black and white and not in color, and color was available at this time. So they're playing with light in such a gorgeous way. Even in this picture, you see where certain spotlights are highlighting certain aspects of fabric and textures. It's wonderful, just wonderful. Oh, just incredible. She goes down to have dinner with him. He doesn't actually have dinner with her. she has dinner by herself. But he only comes down to do one thing, and that's to ask her to marry her, which is an exact mirror to Abaddon, who pretty much always asked her to marry him every day. So it was very interesting. At first I was like, there's got to be a connection between those two. There are some theories out there, but I will, when we get to it, I will share my thoughts with you. It was just interesting to see her get to know the environment. And again, you can see more anamorphic statues. It just was beautiful. Costumes were incredible, insanely good. There are a few scenes where she's kind of sneaking around to see what's going on, to spy on the beast, to find out what's happening. What is he doing? What's happening every night? Why doesn't he eat with her? He's out there eating wild animals and being the beast. He's being the animal he is on the outside. I think at one point she's like, you should be ashamed of yourself. And he's like, yes, I am ashamed of myself. I can't help what I am. And it is really sad because he can't help that nature, right? He can't fight nature and his own nature. He can't fight his own nature. But there is a man in there that is very sweet and very kind and very loving towards Belle. Very loving towards Belle. And it's really cute. This is a great scene here where she's running around, but this statue in the back is like is looking at her. It's very, very cool. Wonderful special effects for 1946. I absolutely loved it. Absolutely. There's one event that happens which I thought was really cool. He goes looking for her one day. She's not at home in her room. She's not at the dinner table. She's outside. And he's like, well, what are you doing out here? It's just like, I just want to walk with you and talk with you. And it really kind of changed the game because they get to know each other and they get to trust each other. Trust is such a big thing. And then it's like, wow, they're really laying down like some really key pillars of relationships here, like trust, like establishing that beautiful trust between people. I love it. I love it. I'm like, yeah. You may be attracted to someone physically, maybe, but their inner sweetness and kindness can cause you to fall in love with that person, can cause you to change your mind about the way you think about who they are and empathize with them, possibly want to share time with them. This is the stuff I love. I do love it because there's like little commentaries there that I'm not even sure the filmmakers or even the writers had any idea they were doing, but it's setting it up right there. She really gets comfortable with him. I mean, the first part of this, she wouldn't even touch him. She wouldn't even look at him. In fact, he didn't want her to look at him. He didn't want her to look in his eyes because she made him feel passion to the point he was even smoking, like literally smoking. It's really crazy. But they use smoke in this. She pets him and he says, "Oh, you pet me like an animal." And she's like, "Yeah, that's what you are." And he's like, "Okay, yeah, you're right about that." There's a little bit more to it than just that. And one of the coolest effects that they did with this makeup back in 1946 was they were able to move his ears. When I saw that, I was like, "Ooh, these guys, emphasis on doing the makeup and trying to get that right. It's very hard, but it didn't look bad. It did not look bad at all. When you get like a really good look at the creature, he actually looks pretty good. I was really astounded by this. Great job, great job." There's another excellent picture. She gets to the point where she's really, really frustrated and wants to go home. She sees her father looks like he's about to die, and she begs and begs and begs, and the beast says, "Okay." But before she goes, he gives her all this information about his private stuff. And I think he was trying to trust her. He says, "Here's a key to my private treasure and the key to my magic. So that way, if anything were to happen to him, she would have his magic and his fortune." So he's trying to leave something for her in case something happened. Also, he gives her a glove, which is really cool. She uses this glove to transport herself back and forth to where she wants to go, wherever she wants to go. She can go anywhere with this glove. It's wonderful. I need a glove like this. And I did love the scene where she's kind of looking at the glove like, wow, it's pretty cool. The effect for her traveling from one place to another was actually cool. This particular scene, she is regurgitated from the wall. So it was very interesting, but you can definitely see it was reverse film to create that illusion. That is simple, and yet communicates the magic, right? It communicates the magic. It's great. I loved it. And it was also visually stunning. Visually stunning. Gets there. Avenant and Ludovic have orchestrated this kind of demise in which all of the property in the house has to be taken away to the loan sharks. They take almost everything except for the poor man's bed and a couple of chairs. And so, just in the nick of time, there is wonderful Belle with a few jewels and a few things that maybe she can sell. And she tries to help them get back on their feet again. Within a week, they have her in rags and cleaning up after them and serving them like a pauper. But all this time, they are plotting to do something to change their circumstances. For one thing, Belle, as soon as she gets there, she tells them all of the beast's secrets, all of them. Even about the key. And so they're like, "Okay, we got to get this key. We got to get the mirror. We got to get this." They are plotting to try to find out where the beast lives and to get to that treasure. That they do very easily, because Belle is definitely too trusting of her family. If you listen to this in French, it's beautifully done. The voice acting is just wonderful. It shows just the right amount of cruelty to these characters and their acting ability as well. Unfortunately, the beast finds out that she's not coming home. She may have forgotten, or she's just going to ride it a little bit late, but he doesn't think that she's going to come back, and so he's lost it. One thing I have to say about the creature or the beast is the way he says Belle. In all of the moments that they spend together, he's like, "Belle." I'm like, I'm like, I'm like, wow, he really loves that lady. Every time he says her name, he's like, "Belle." I'm like, wow. That is the way to say a name. And he did it so wonderfully. So kudos to the actor performing this. I believe his name is Jean Marias. He was fantastic. And Belle is being played by Josette Day. Very nice. These are great actors. I had such a great time watching their work. There is this whole sequence in which Belle realizes that she has to go back to the beast or he's going to die. So she finds the glove and she goes to her bed. She ends up being in her bed at the beast location. And then she realized, oh no, I don't have the key. She puts the glove back on and she goes back to her home and she can't find the key. So something must be up. So she rushes, puts the glove right back on again, and comes back to the beast's castle. I thought that sequence of events was very, very good. It was a great way to insert some tension. It was a great way to make the character realize that something was wrong. And also, it was a great display of the magic of that glove. It was very, very well done, and I loved it. I was like, wow, this is really cool. Is also blowing my mind on this, how good these effects are with a classic feel to it. There's something, like I said, has like a gothic beauty, and it is also magical, ghostly, dreamlike, mesmerizing. Those words are the words I would use to describe this. It was so good. And at the same time, when Belle comes back to the castle, she rushes off to go see where the beast is. And she knows that he's around, and she's trying to go to all the places where they used to go together. At the same time, Avenant and Ludovic are actually at the treasure house where all the treasure's being kept. Now, with the key, they were just about to use the key to enter this thing. Avenant says, no, let's not use the key because it could be a trap. It could be a big trap. And he's right. It could have been a big trap. So he decides, why don't we go up on the roof and I'll just slide down there and get the treasure and we'll be home free. Well, they get to the roof. They crash in the roof. And as Avenant is being lowered to the ground, a statue of the goddess Diana comes to life and shoots him. And while she shoots him, he turns into the beast and dies. And at this very same time, Belle has found the actual beast, and he is dying. And so he passes on just about the same time this happens. And so it's a very cool, the little special effect that they do here, which is basically just a fade in, but it was quite cool to see how the two faces lined up beautifully with one another. It wasn't a perfect match, but it was pretty good. Yes, the beast passes on, but because Diana has done this, somehow that brings the beast back to life, and he turns into this guy, which is he looks like Avenant, and he looks just like Avenant. The beast is now a man and a prince, no less, with his own kingdoms. And so the goddess Diana is one I had never heard of before. So let's find out about the Roman goddess Diana. She's primarily considered a patroness of the countryside and nature, hunters, wildlife, childbirth, crossroads, the night, and the moon. Oh, wonderful, wonderful. That's why we kept seeing nature so involved in this movie. Very nice. See, I love that. That was incredible that I saw nature, and there we have the Roman goddess of nature. So we have the wonderful prince here, Prince Ardent. He's got his own kingdom, and I believe because of the magic, he was able to have his appearance. Now, there's also another interpretation some people have put together that Avenant and Ardent are twin brothers, and there was some sort of vengeance that our Avenant was having against, and in order to break his curse, he needed to, or get his revenge, he needed to marry Belle. And I think it's very interesting that fans have come up with a really cool ending for these characters, and I'm all about it. I'm like, okay, I'll buy that for $1. And so, like in most fairy tales, we have Belle and her wonderful prince in spectacular garbs here fly away together. And when I say that they fly away together, I mean that they fly away together for real. It's incredible, like the special effect that they use for this was the combination of in this particular picture, it looks like they're laying down on a black mat. Order before they got to this point, I think they jumped down, and the process of them jumping down is them reversing that footage and making it look like they flew up. It's really, really cool. So I did love looking at all of their special effects of what they wanted to do. Even today, accomplishing some of these special effects definitely possible. Definitely, there are so many ways that they can do it. The CGI, they can do it with green screen, they can do it with so many ways. But I love looking at these older movies and trying to decipher how they did some of their magical illusions, if you will. And it's fascinating, beautiful, and visually astounding. Absolutely. Now, I just want to go just briefly over a few of the artwork for this movie. Here's one right here for the poster. Um, as far as the older telling of the tale of Beauty and the Beast, here's some older um, versions of the Beast, sometimes portrayed as a donkey, sometimes portrayed as a bear. Now, after this movie, there was a movie in 1961, Beauty and the Beast. There was one in 1976 done with George C. Scott. And of course, you can see he's got makeup to look like a boar. And this one is a bird. This was very interesting. A bird. I've never seen this one. 1979. Very interesting. This one I know I've seen. And if you notice, there's a lot of similarities between this movie and the 1946 version. I believe Shelley got a lot of inspiration from this. This is from Shelley Duvall's Fairy Tale Theater that was aired on television. Wonderful shows of wonderful fairy tales and just done in the classic way and in the best way in a theater format. And it was really, really well done. Always one of my favorites to watch every once in a while. This was with Susan Sarandon and Klaus Kinski. And very, very good production, I must add. There's a fantasy sequence in there that's amazing, absolutely wonderful. This is one I've seen as well, Beauty and the Beast, with Rebecca De Mornay and John Savage. I love this one. It's actually really good. That was done in 1987. 1987 also brought us the TV show Beauty and the Beast. If you guys remember, this one was with Linda Hamilton and Ron Perlman rocking some pretty intense high cheekbones as the Beast and awesome hair. I think we all love the hair. Lots of people love that show. Then we have the Disney classic movie 1991. Wow, wow, wow. What a wonderful movie. This was Beauty and the Beast, highlighting the magic of Beast Castle. Very nicely done, I must add. And that beautiful ballroom scene of the two dancing. So many wonderful moments that were just highlighted in that movie, making it iconic. This one is a little bit different. It is the 2003. It's more of a medieval fantasy flick. Very very interesting. We have 2010 Beauty and the Beast here. Then we have Beastly 2011. Now, if I forget one or two because they're named differently, please forgive me. But I just wanted to go down the ways in which all of the beasts looked. And this particular beast just looked like he was in an accident, and the thing he just looked like a person. So not sure everything about that, but I've never really seen this movie, so I'm looking forward to seeing it one day. If you guys have seen this, let me know what you think of Beastly. Then we have this one. I did not see this movie, but I did see some of the footage from it. 2014, Leah Seydoux and Vincent Cassel. And unfortunately, the beast is completely CGI. Did not care for that at all. But some of the visuals in this movie, which I'm looking forward to actually seeing the full movie, are just stunning. Just stunning. So I think there was a level of artistry put into this movie, and it just got overshadowed by the CGI. This one is actually interesting because this is a Spanish language one. Very, very interesting. Oh, by the way, the last one, this one is a French one as well. I believe it does have subtitles. It's done in the French language, and this is Spanish language, 2014. And I did see this. I believe it's a two-parter TV series that I witnessed, and that was overdubbed the one that I saw. And then we have the 2017 version of Beauty and the Beast. I did not see all of this yet. I did see like some highlights and stuff. It just kind of took me out of it seeing this beast completely CGI. I mean, at first we were doing the most, right? We were doing the most. When you look at the movie in 1946, we're like doing the most, right? We're doing so much for this makeup to look so good. And then we're just like, okay, we're just gonna leave it to special effect CGI to do all the hard lifting for us. And it doesn't quite look right to me. Visually, I'm not afraid. I think it's interesting. I think it's cool, but in the live action setting, I'm not afraid. And so I should be afraid of the characters. I really should be scared. They should look like live beasts, that they're actually there in the space, and somehow it's not translating that to me. So that's the problem. These are more beautiful covers of the poster arts for this movie. Incredible stuff. We have the makeup process here. Now, I do have a little thing where we learned about the makeup. Okay, I'm just going to read this off. They got Jean Marias's Alaskan Husky Monologue to be the model for the beast's face. So I guess he's modeled after a dog, but he looks a lot like a cat creature. And the beast makeup and processes took a long time to apply, talking about 3 hours to attach the beast mask and 1 hour for each claw. The teeth would be hooked into the actor's mouth, which was not very practical for eating, and which caused the actor to eat mainly soup. And the thing about it is that it looks like someone really took their time to do this and make it look great. And as I said, the ears perk up too, so another little feature that they put together for this look. And like I was saying before, they shot outside. They really did think of the most natural way to portray this gothic surroundings of this castle. It's very wonderful. I love every minute of it. And there's Jean Cocteau. Just as a little background about him, he was a French poet, playwright, novelist, designer, film director, visual artist, and critic. Some films that are attached to the artist is The Blood of a Poet. The Storm Within is his other one. That was in 1948. This movie, of course, 1946. Orpheus, 1950. And Testament of Orpheus in 1960. I am really looking forward to watching some of his other movies as well. That will be a lot of fun for me. So yes, what an interesting guy. And you know, ultimately, I am just so thrilled that I was able to watch this movie. This is so good and very, very fulfilling for someone who loves visual storytelling and lovely stories. This is romantic. This is great. You know, Belle. The way he says Belle is just so flat, like so incredible. I am in love with this movie, and I can't wait to watch it about maybe 30 or 40 more times. It's really that good, and I'm sure after that, I will probably pick in there, like, more details that I can see about this that are just fascinating. I love this kind of movie. Thank you so very much, Unicorn Rampant Studio, for suggesting it. I'm not sure if you suggested it necessarily. I had never seen this before, and, of course, you know how much I love black and white films and films with great visual storytelling, so I just had to watch it as soon as I found out about it. And guys, you can probably watch it for free anywhere on the internet. Look for it either on YouTube. I watched it also on Tubi. It was absolutely great. Do look around for it. And that will be it. Well, guys, if you've seen this version of Beauty and the Beast, please do let me know what you think about it in the comments. If you haven't, but you've seen other versions, let me know what your favorite version of Beauty and the Beast is. And you probably, like me, and found out, hey, there's a couple more versions of Beauty and the Beast that you haven't seen yet. Which one are you looking most forward to? Tell me what you think in the comments, and I for sure will be reading them. Absolutely. You guys have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.